Again, good morning everyone. It's Phil Wade from Dalton Wade Real Estate Group, and today we're with Cherie, Jan, Valerie, Bill, Rob, Kiona, Kinga, and Lisa, and Phil. So hey, today we're going to talk about following up with your leads, your buyer leads or seller leads, and kind of how to do that best. And a lot of the trainings get prompted by things that happen during the week, and this week there were a couple of stories, so I thought I'd turn those into a training to see if that can help everybody do a little bit better with following up and converting their leads. So story one, these are true stories. So story one, agent, we'll call that person agent number one. Agent number one gets a lead through Zillow back in January, calls the person, speaks to the person, changes the person's status in Boomtown like they should to nurture, because the person wasn't ready to purchase for another some amount of time, 3 to 6 months out. I think they had a house to sell, but then after that, no, the follow-up ended. They didn't set an alert like they were supposed to, and they never basically followed up ever again with that person. Fast forward to this week, buyer contacts another agent, fortunately from Dalton Wade, and that agent. And then because of the way Boomtown is set up, that lead didn't go into that agent number two's kind of lead central. And then actually both agents ended up calling, but agent two called first, got the appointment, scheduled the showing, and then when the first agent who had the lead originally called, they were told that the buyer was working with somebody else. Now, we only know this because it was all internal. If it had been, agent one and then somebody from another brokerage, we never would have known that. But the point is that agent one, basically, she let that lead, and I think roughly $6,500 commission go away. She did nothing to facilitate building that. I mean, she never even got to the relationship part. She had a relationship when she initially spoke to them, but then and because she didn't do anything, actually it probably worked against her. Because why would that person want to work with somebody who actually didn't really do anything? So that's a problem. So within your lead database, you really we're all always getting new leads, and sometimes maybe we don't need new leads. We need to make sure the leads we have and that we're currently working are all set up for success. There's a property alert, there's a to-do to actually check in with them. Internet leads, some convert initially, right? You call them, you can take them out, and they'll potentially buy something, but that's probably about 30% of what comes in. The other, some of them obviously never will convert, but there's ones, just especially in Florida. A lot of people are coming from other places, and they may not be here, now, or they have a house to sell, or their timing is further out. So you really want to make an effort to keep in touch, and keeping in touch is easy. It's sending them an email, asking them how it's going, maybe providing them with some buyer tips. Things that then cement them to you, so that when that timing is right for them to purchase, you're their person. So, and then story number two is a much better story. So story number two was an agent that went through all our leads, and then the leads can be sorted by, if you've set them up with the alerts, they can be sorted by the last time they actually were on the website. So she saw somebody that, and then this person, she never made contact with. She had called them twice, texted them twice, emailed them twice, nothing back. But then set up the alert, and then just, kind of every so often would sort her leads by last visit, and then all of a sudden this lead was popping up as being on the website, looking at the properties, opening the emails, She put a call into them, and you know, the long and the short of it was the person, she now has a new client. So if that alert had never been set up, or she's not checking to see who's visited the site, that somebody else gets that lead. So that's really how it works. So to kind of maximize your results, you want to be thinking very systemically and very organized in terms of you know, setting everybody up with a to-do so that you are, you know, staying in touch, setting everybody up with an alert so that you're kind of, it's almost like an automatic drip campaign, so you're keeping in front of them, and then watching. And then, you know, it's you got to be there when they're ready to purchase. And by checking in, you know, again, when should you check in? If it's somebody, you know, that you've talked to, that first call, they'll kind of tell you, you know, maybe, oh, my timing's 5 or 6 months, so you check in a month. Then maybe you check in a month later, and you're just, you know, you're letting them know that, you know, you're there, you're ready to help them, and it's a reminder. And sometimes people's, you know, timing changes, so that's kind of why you want to do it, you know, consistently. And, you know, just, again, kind of being able to go that extra mile for the clients. Again, a lot of people not from here. I know Lisa has gone and videotaped homes for folks, actually, you know, and sent them those to sort of solidify that relationship. You know, if you go that extra mile, there's no reason for them to, you know, contact another agent. You're going to get their business. But if you don't do that and you forget about them, then, you know, well, really, in their mind, well, what type of agent is this? And maybe I need to be working with somebody else. So, you know, videos, you know, property ideas, tips on, you know, the buying process. Those are all things that, you know, and again, that follow-up email or text or call takes 5 minutes. It's very, you know, short to the point, but it cements them to you. So, you know, really try to work on that and improve on that, and you'll make more money. It's just that simple. Anybody have any tips in terms of things they do to kind of, you know, solidify the relationship when they're trying to, you know, pull somebody in, Jan, and put you on the spot?
Well, one of the things that I do is I do have an automatic email that goes out to Boomtown. So it'll email to people, and I'll look up, and they're answering the email, and I'm like, oh, I didn't send that, but then I'm like, oh, I forgot. It's Boomtown. But the other thing is I set everybody up in the MLS drip campaign. So when they go in and they visit their portal and they heart something or light bulb it, then I'll send them something else, or I'll call them or text them or email them and see if they want to go see that property. So that seems to work as well.
Yeah, if you're a non-Dalton Wade agent and you're looking at this, I mean, and you don't have Boomtown, you can basically use the MLS My Matrix, set the people up with a property alert. You can see if they're opening the alerts, and that's the tip-off that, you know, you might follow back up with them, and you know, that they're, again, it's people's behavior. People that don't open the emails, you can't get in touch with, they're probably not your person. But, you know, just like the second story where the person, you know, that initial attempt to make contact with them, it didn't happen, but that didn't mean that that person wasn't buying a house sometime in the future. It just, why they didn't call her back more than likely was they weren't ready to buy something now, so they say, like, why do I want to call her back? You know, or they got busy and it wasn't top of mind. So, you know, you got to get them when they're ready, and sometimes they're not ready till further out. And if you let those, you know, like agent one, unfortunately, kind of let that go and lost the business. So, Bill, do you have any things you do with buyers to maybe help kind of solidify that relationship?
I was kind of just wanted to say something about the Boomtown, and like if somebody opts out of their email. I just had this one and I didn't send it to archive right away. So I just kept an eye on it, and even though she opted out of emails, she's still visiting on the website. So I can't communicate her with like an e-alert or drip campaign anymore, but she is still there. So I think if when she's ready, she'll turn it back on or something, I could still always give her a call.
Well, no. Yeah, you would definitely want to give her a call. So
Yeah.
that would be somebody you'd want to have as a to-do for maybe whenever that kind of next time you think,
Yes.
it would be to sort of reach out to them. Because she may not reach out to you, but it's that prompting of like, hey, I'm still here.
Mhm.
I can help you. That, will that's what pulls them in. So it's when they're ready, you got to be there. But if you're not there, they may contact Jan and she'll be on top, right?
Right.
Right, and and then
Right.
Jan got the business as opposed to you. So
Yeah.
that's, or another agent. That's, unfortunately, there's not a lot of loyalty. I mean, if you build that relationship and you build that sort of, they like you and they'll stick with you. But when you're not doing, they're just on to the next agent, and because you didn't really.
I just had one email me back that was looking for a condo near the beach, 100,000 cash, 20-pound dog. I sent her one that I thought she would like, and there wasn't really anything that fit her criteria out there. And I said, I'll keep my eye out for you for anything new, or sometimes there's a price reduction which will come into your price point, and I'll let you know. And she's like, oh, thank you very much, you're very nice.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we haven't spoken on the phone, but the email communication is that's how people live today.
That email,
So,
text,
email,
I
text,
mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
and that's, so you've built that relationship so that if you
Yes.
can find that property, you'll get her business. So
Yes.
that's how it works.
Yeah, because sometimes people won't answer their phone and they won't answer your email, but if you text them, they'll respond. I mean,
Right.
I've had that happen, like within 5 minutes. I called them, they didn't answer. I emailed them the property, and then I text them, and then they answer the text. So you don't know if they're at work or anything like that. Maybe they can't answer the phone, but they'll, most of the time,
Well,
they'll answer
the
the
use
text.
of text will only increase, as kind of millennials get older. That's kind of what they do. They don't call, they text, and so you gotta communicate how they like to be communicated with.
I just had the perfect Zillow lead come through. Came through, called, left a message, then text, then emailed. She responded back to me on the property. This was Tuesday. We set up an appointment to see it Thursday. Met with them last night. We put in an offer.
Oh,
One
wow.
house.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
It
Nice.
happens. I mean,
It
it
does
definitely,
happen.
and the way to think of that, those are the easy ones, right? Those
Yeah,
are
there's
the,
like, it's just like,
Right.
here you go.
Those are the ones that make up for
I
Ended
know.
up
I've
so
had a
fun,
handful,
yes.
a few of those. Talia had one that I gave her, one house, and then we got the list.
Right.
So it was buyer, and then they allowed us to list the house as well. So
But some of them are, because again, it's not that, like that person, again, you never know exactly, but that person might have been looking and contacted another agent, 4 or 5 months, whatever. That agent never followed up. That agent kind of basically lost the business to you. I mean, you don't know if that actually happened.
It
but-
didn't. They just started looking.
Right.
It was this like the perfect house. It
Yeah,
fit
wow, nice.
100% their
Nice.
criteria and then some. And it was like, let's just do it. So I did comps on it. I mean, and the house is priced like 2 sells. So they're like, well, we don't want to lose that. Okay.
Well, those are always good. Congratulations.
Well, and we're still nurturing that one I don't want to talk about. So.
Bill got like $1 million, lead out of Zillow, so 10 million?
10 million.
wow.
10 million. Wow.
We're having dinner with them tomorrow night. So,
They're back in town again,
yeah. Third time.
scoping out churches and
Nice. Yeah. It's not a word.
So any other comments or good stories that might sort of help solidify, that buyer to your strategies, Jan?
Well, just another thing, just like Lisa did with the videos, I've sold 3 properties where I FaceTimed the buyer because they came in town, they didn't find anything, they left town. And so then I FaceTimed them and they bought the house, never stepped foot in the house at all.
3 times?
3 times.
Awesome.
And so that works too. And if they don't have FaceTime, then you can do it with Facebook Live. So one of my buyers, she didn't have an iPhone. So that really helps. And then they flew down like before closing, or one of them was an away closing. So, but that's that relationship that you build with them. And I, with video the yard, you know, the area outside so that they could see what the neighbors' houses look like and those things as well.
That's a
So
great,
they
great
really
tip.
appreciate that.
Great tip.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good one. And again, that's you know, going the extra mile, going the extra step for that client. Like a lot of people never would do that. I mean, agents, they just wouldn't do that. And so that's great. That's awesome. Anybody else? Kinga, Lisa?
I did the same thing. I send videos to people through the Marco Polo app. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
That's how I did it. They were from New York, and I just went there and
Did the
made
thing.
a video.
Any comments or questions out in Periscope
Or
land?
tips.
Or tips? Alrighty, so let's just summarize. You know, follow up with your leads is important. Having a strategy that is thought out, using either the Boomtown e-alerts or the MLS alerts. If you're on the Boomtown system, please use the Boomtown alerts. But if you're not, you know, the MLS alerts, you know, can be effective as well. And then, you know, have a CRM with to-dos, manage your business off the to-dos. Again, you know, if you're sending somebody, you know, an email or a text, or you call them and they don't respond back, that doesn't mean they're not ready or they're not going to buy. It just means they're not ready now. So don't give up on that person. You know, again, your strategy might be I emailed them in a month, and then I'm setting my next to-do for 6 weeks. So I'm checking back in 6 weeks, and then, you know, watch their activity on, you know, if they're opening the emails of the property listings. You know, if they're doing that, all of a sudden they start doing it, it's telling you now is the time, and that's when you want to reach out to them. Alrighty, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.